This is how we're going to start our day with the random musing of
VIKALAAAH,
Oh,
That's right.
And I remember the dog asking a very pointed question. Does anyone remember when it used to be rare to score 100 plus points in a game?
Yep.
I remember that question.
Like, wasn't it a rarity to see points? Like, usually it would be one good offensive team, but you would have some defense.
Mm-hmm.
Where in the world has defense gone in the last 6 years?
Now
I'll tell you where it died with Jordan and Bryant.
I'll agree with that.
Not wrong.
This iteration of the NBA not just sucks, but it's gotten to be embarrassing to watch.
Yep. Let's take 43s a game as a team.
This has become more than over-exaggerated games of horse. And I, for one,
it doesn't help. It doesn't help that not only is it just an over-exaggerated game of horse, but also it's just straight soft. I mean, look at Zach Edey. He tried to play his normal ball he played in college and fouled out 5 minutes into the second half.
It's ridiculous. I remember when hand checking was a thing. You had to put your body up on somebody. Remember how bad it was for Jordan?
You had to body up somebody.
Remember how bad it was for Jordan when he had to go through the hole and deal with the bad boys in the low post?
Yep.
Why is this not a thing anymore?
So you know what? And let me couple that with this. So you know what Jordan did? He got himself and his teammates in the weight room, and they got stronger. And they said, "All right, we'll figure this out." Go on, Victor.
And you wonder why you're looking at these players like, when I say Sharman Harden, and when I look at players like Joel Embiid.
Oh, dear Lord.
And Zion Williamson.
Joel Embiid. Well, dear God.
These guys who should be tough players, but they're playing in a soft league.
Soft.
You know, I think the biggest answer to the question why we don't see people go into the hole as much as often is the evolution of the game itself. It has turned into basically trying to hit jumpers now. People don't want to go to the hole because they're afraid of getting injured.
But
this is true. This is true.
That in itself is not terrible. Mm-hmm. But even in those situations, you still had guys that were D'ing you up pretty.
Yeah.
Even when
and here's the thing though. So many people want to blame Stephen Curry for this de-evolution. Yes, I had that word used toward me. De-evolution of the NBA. Listen, it's not his fault, nor Steve Kerr's, nor Klay Thompson's, that they took an anomaly and turned it into a weapon.
But they're not even the first team to do that.
Exactly. The Denver Nuggets were the first one to do that in 1990.
The Denver Nuggets
West had anyone?
The Denver Nuggets did it. The Orlando Magic used to do it. They used to basically surround Dwight Howard with a bunch of shooters, a bunch of snipers, to where they had.
They did the same with Shaq. They did the same with Shaq in his rookie years.
They sure did.
They basically
and look what Shaq.
Penny Hardaway, Anthony Bowie, to a point, John Koncak, veteran center. They surrounded Shaq with a lot of shooters. They for Dwight Howard.
Look at the Lakers when they went on their title run.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Same thing with the Bulls in the second three-peat.
Yep.
Steve Kerr,
they got more. Steve Kerr, Judd Bushler, Ron Harper. They got more. They had more shooters because Jordan was getting older. Pippen was getting older. They had just brought in Luke Longley in 1994.
Mm-hmm.
So they had the center position established, but they had more shooters.
The first too. But the problem I'm seeing is that but even then, like I said before, even the arc was well defended.
Yeah.
Even the arc, there was a guy putting his body on him. Like
23 feet 9 inches. You're never going, unless you were Steve Kerr or Ray Allen or Craig Hodges or Dale Ellis or those guys, you were not going to get a clean look.
Reggie Miller.
Reggie Miller. Thank you. Man, my wife would pop the back of my head if I forgot Reggie Miller.
Grant Hill.
And I mean, yeah. The fact of the matter, the fact of the matter is nowadays people give you 2-3 feet.
Like,
I mean, really no defense out there anymore.
But like people think that this is more exciting because there's more high scoring, there's more scoring. It's like, yeah, but we liked it when the scoring was earned.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it used to be rare to see guys pop off for 40 points a game.
Listen,
nowadays it's commonplace almost.
Listen, Doug Moe was the first coach I ever knew of when I first started watching basketball that pushed the pace. And he did it with the Denver Nuggets back in the 80s. And then I ran into Frank Layden in the Utah Jazz, Cotton Fitzsimmons and the Phoenix Suns. Okay? There was a description for a while. The East is where you get bloodied. The West is where you run.
Yeah.
That moniker stayed with the NBA until 1995.
And now it's just like these guys want to do so much ISO ball and all these ball hand. Like, this ain't and one, guys. I get it. I miss and one. Trust and believe I do. But this ain't and one.
No, it's not.
You need to have some sort of protection. You need to have some sort of defense.
Listen, this is what the Warriors did last night in hanging 134 points on the Portland Trailblazers. Cole described it so well. It's the Princeton offense on steroids.
Right.
The Warriors want to push the pace. That has always been true since Steve Kerr showed up as the head coach. Now, this iteration of the Warriors, even more so, will beat you by a bunch of backdoor cuts.
Right.
They want to pass the ball. I mean, it gets to a point now with the Warriors, if they don't have 30 assists in the game, they don't win.
Right. And I like the fact that they're passing the ball. I like the fact that they're doing a bit more. I mean, I specialize as a range shooter when I used to play basketball.
Yep.
Okay. I used to and practice 3-pointers. So it's not like I dislike the 3-point shooting idea. It's just that there's no one getting up on you and saying you're going to have to earn this shot. You got to earn this 2 or 3 points. And if you can't, and if I take you down, then your 3 points are going to come from the line.
Exactly.
If you don't get these points, you got to go to the line. You got to come from the line.
Well, unfortunately, today is not Wednesday, but I'll add this sentence to Victor's musing. You know who came in 2003 and pulled the rug out from the NBA.
Put up the graphic. Put up the graphic.
If you can find it.
I found it. Because.
Yes, LeBron, it is you. It has always been you. It is you now. And it's not only just you, it's your son too.
Oh,
forever, never, never. And the church say,
Amen.
Amen.
Now, let me ask this question, and I'm asking this of all of us basketball aficionados. When was the last time we had 9 people with 30 points on average to start a season?
Certainly not in my era.
Not in mine.
Certainly not in my era.
Right now, the first games of the season out of the way, there are 9 guys with 30 or more points to start a season.
I haven't seen. Look, I have not seen that. I can honestly say I haven't seen that since 1989, and that was only after a couple of games. And Jordan separated himself from everybody. But it was Jordan. It was Bird. It was.
I would have expected.
It was Barkley.
Yes,
and it was Barkley after a couple of games. It was Magic John. It was James Worthy. But it was guys like that knew how to put the ball in the hole.
Patrick Ewing
definitely, before he slowed down and injuries got a hold of him. The last time I truly saw that, when people earned 30 points a game, to answer your question, dog, was 1989. And even then, some averages went down below 30 while Jordan stayed up because that was statistically his best year.
Well, like I said before, it's like literally you were on somebody. The handshaking was real. people were trying to swipe and get steals. But now, like Droid said, the way that the rules are too, because the NBA's got to take some responsibility on this. I can't put all the blame on LeBron, even though I'd like to.
Yeah.
This is also part of the NBA's fault. I know you want to keep people from getting injured. Believe me, I applaud that.
I applaud it too.
But just like I'm seeing the NFL, I'm seeing and I've seen the NBA, is they're taking defense out of the hands of the players and putting it in the hands of the refs.
I hate that. And there's no lie to be found with that statement.
It seems like you have bad body odor, then you're getting called for a foul. You pass gas on somebody, that's going to be a foul.
No, that's going to be a tech.
That's going to be
it's going to be a tech, and the next one's an ejection.
By the way, anyone curious about those guys who's got the 30 points so far this season?
No, don't even say
it. Don't worry, LeBron's not on the list.
I don't care. I don't care if he is. I don't care if he's not. No.
And it props up, in my opinion, false scorers.
Thank you. Like James Harden.
Like James Harden. Like Joel Embiid.
Man, Joel Embiid is a bitch.
Okay. Like
I've said
Russell Westbrook.
What's Russell Westbrook?
Like Kyrie the Herbal Tea.
Listen.
You mean like
I've said this about Kyrie. I've said this about Joel Embiid. I'm going to say it about Paul George, no matter how mad JJ gets at me. But in 3 words, y'all some bitches.
You mean also like Trae Young and Damian Lillard?
Yep.
Damian, I'll take. All right? Damian, I'll take. Trae Young is a fraud, and he's been a fraud since he came into the NBA. Trae Young is a fraud, period.
It's just maddening that nowadays, instead of saying, man, remember that hard-fought game? That hard-fought game between the Spurs and the Sixers, or the Bulls and the Nuggets, or the Warriors and the Lakers, where it was like maybe 3 points that down. It was like 69-66 or 84-82.
82.
Now it's like 134-99.
Well, I say that I say this. One, do something to the players that are in the NBA right now. You made it to the next level. Now make your game better, especially defensively, and do something about it instead of bitching all the time.
Yeah.
Secondly, bring this league back to where it was in its heyday. And its heyday was the 80s. When people actually played basketball. Let me say it again. When people actually played basketball. I'll say it one more time. When people actually played basketball, doggone it.
That's another thing I will bring up.
We aren't paid to play defense. We're paid to play on offense. We're paid for points.
That's one more thing I want to bring up before I end this. It's very funny how everyone proclaims that this is the heyday of the NBA. This is where NBA is really watching.
Please.
And I'm like, hold on. How many times do y'all watch a game and then you go outside and play basketball?
Man, me and Victor used to do that so many times.
Man.
Me and listen, when I met Victor, when I met Victor in 2001, we would talk basketball for about an hour and a half, and then we'd have it over to the gym and play it.
Right. I remember back in the day when I would watch the Bulls smack whoever they were playing, and then my dad would grab not even say anything. I would hear the basketball bounce on the floor. We had a hardwood floor at the time. And he would start bouncing the basketball, and I got shorts on.
You know what's happening. You know what's happening.
Cross the street, because the school was right there with the basketball court. They got the fresh nets and everything.
Man, Dad and I used to play ball in the basement. He would teach me the fundamentals of shooting the basketball. He would teach me the fundamentals of where to find. You know what? Let me say something, okay? And this applies to a certain group, and y'all know who the group is. But because it's Thursday, I cannot say the name out loud. Adrian Dantley played a better fundamental small forward than you know who.
Yeah.
Okay? Alex English played a better fundamental small forward than you know who. Larry freaking Nance, who we had the chance of meeting in person, and such a nice guy.
Yep.
Such a wonderful, wonderful gentleman.
Yes, indeed.
Played a better fundamental small forward than you know who. I can name so many guys who played a better fundamental small forward than you know who. It's not even funny. And you know what, Victor? I'll close this out for you. Y'all want to see what basketball was? Let me take you back to 1989.
He looks to bring it in. He comes in and throws it away. The Bulls have it. Here comes Michael Jordan on the drive. 5 seconds. Jordan on the drive right of the lane. 18-footer.
How much more of sports passing is about also? You let this play. Which is courtesy of Sports Channel. The date was February 16th, 1989 in Old Chicago Stadium. Look at some of the players who are in this game.
Is Cummings saved the ball. So they get it to Michael Jordan, wrap around the back. Takes it, looks for three. It's not there. Goes in the free throw line, up over Jack Sigma. What does he find? Nothing but net, but points 49 and 50 for Jordan to give the Bulls a lead. 117 to 116. Michael loves it. This is their first lead in the second half. Remember, they were down 12 earlier in this fourth quarter. Michael Jordan has scored 27 of his 50 here in the fourth quarter. 1 tick of the clock left for Del Harris and the Milwaukee Bucks. If the ball goes out of bounds, they may be able to stop this situation. Because then there's defense. Now,
another one of our friends, Greg Hodges.
They're going to be watching for that timer to go after it. That ball's got to.
And look at how close those guys. Look at how close that 18-footer. In my opinion, because of how much pressure was on Mike, is far away more impressive than any dunk LeBron has done.
Period.
And look how close the score was.
Period. Doggone it. Period. See,
and I'm going to just say this last thing.
I actually will say this, Victor.
Mm-hmm.
I want to point at a specific clip from recent times.
Mm-hmm.
And it was Dallas Mavericks versus Utah Jazz.
Mm-hmm.
With that beautiful passing play. With Doncic on the ground, passing across to Kyrie. Kyrie threw it up for the dunk.
Mm-hmm.
Beautiful sequence. Right. How do you as Utah... Shut up, Snowman. I'm not done talking. How do you, Utah, let that happen?
My response remains.
Good question.
And you know what? Joy poses a good point. A player is sitting on his ass.
Yeah.
And still able to get a pass off. Like Luka Doncic can. Like Kevin Johnson could. Like Mark Price could. Like Stephen Curry can. How do you allow that to happen as a defense? So, Droid, I take back my raspberry from a moment ago. You bring up a very good point.
You know what the thing my dad taught me, besides how to shoot the three? Taught me how to box out.
Listen, I had one simple statement whenever I played basketball and people dared me to shoot.
Mm-hmm.
I don't get paid to shoot. I get paid to beat people up in the post. And oddly enough, one of my first favorite shooting three of my favorite shooting big men,
mm-hmm.
Jack Sigma, Tom Chambers, and Bill Laimbeer. What I loved about Laimbeer, listen, I hated him when he played against the Bulls. Don't get it twisted, because I'm a Bulls fan.
Mm-hmm.
What I hated about Laimbeer is what made him so dangerous.
His shot.
Yep.
Shot. Exactly.
He had something that LBJ has never consistently developed. A jump shot.
I knew it. I read your mind.
Well,
What's
it's a given that
I said
Le-
jump shot as
Jump
well.
shot.
Yep.
it's a given that LeBron's never developed that. In the 20 years plus he's been in the league, he's never had a decent J.
He's
How
always
did
I'll
you
tell you
describe?
why he hasn't had a decent J is because he didn't go to college to try and improve it.
oh
Say that again, Droid,
Perfect point.
please.
I'll
Say
tell
that
you why LBJ doesn't have a good jump shot is because he never went to college to try and improve it. He just went straight into the NBA.
So, in other words, what Droid just said to all this certain group
mhm.
is that LBJ's jumper is nothing but
It's trash. It's a chicken wing. It is one of the. It's a dry chicken wing that's under the heat lamp at Jewel Osco since 9 in the doggone morning.
No, this is like Popeyes that's been sitting out for about 20 minutes.
As I said, it's nothing but a lot of. We gotta go to a break, but
Yes,
those
sir.
are the random musings of.